Hello everyone, how's everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel. This is Sherry, and today I'm working on one thing, and I'm going to show you one thing that I did. So just a fun little crafty day here on this video, So I hope you're having a good day, and maybe you'll craft along with me. I wanted to show you what I did. I showed you this roll of wallpaper I picked up and you've got these pretty flowers on it at a thrift store. I showed it to you on my Thrifty Thursday. It has all these pretty flowers on it, and they're in like rectangles and squares that I can cut out. So I wanted to show you what I did. I was thinking, I had a couple different thoughts on what I wanted to do, and I was trying to see how that worked, and this is what I ended up doing. I will go through the whole process of my thoughts with you, but that might take a few minutes, so just to save some time. What I ended up doing was going ahead, I took a piece of it, cut around the rectangles, and cut a piece off. You know, I didn't cut straight across, so I didn't want to cut any flowers in half. So then I realized, I already realized the paper, of course, is curled from being on a roll, and I thought my thought process was I wanted to go ahead and get some straightened out, right? But then I decided to go ahead and cut some out, cut all the little rectangles out in squares. Here they are, like this. And so then I thought, well, maybe I'll just roll them in the opposite direction, see if I can flatten it out that way, and then put it under something, or, you know, put it somewhere where it can lay flat and let it straighten itself out, which is something that I probably could have done. But I thought, whoa, then I was sitting here looking at the little curled pieces, and I was like, well, I wonder if I could iron these, you know, I mean, so I did, that's what I did. I would say if you do that, you know, wallpaper, I guess, is made out of different types of paper. And, you know, even the ones that are just like this maybe are different, you know. So, and then I noticed when I was ironing them, after I cut these all out, I took them into and set up my ironing board and ironed them. But I noticed the front ironed a little different. I mean, the back ironed a little different than the front. So it actually is kind of maybe a different, you know, it almost felt like a different paper on the back than the front. So, and I think it is a little different of, you know, a feel. However they make it, it's different on the back than the front. So like a little smoother or something, a little more slick on the front here where the picture is. So what I did was I turned my iron on, got it hot, and then I turned it to like about halfway in the middle. Now this is just my iron. I'm sure irons are all different, and I've had this one for a really long time, so even the newer ones are probably maybe different than this one. Of course, it wasn't on steam or anything like that, so, but I set it in the middle, so probably like about medium, and then I just carefully and lightly, like I didn't press down hard, I didn't want to burn or melt anything. So I experimented, and I tried it on the front and the back, and I noticed the back did iron. It seems like a little better than the front. I almost felt like the front was going to stick, but it didn't. Like I said, I didn't press down hard on my iron, or even let the weight of it press down hard. I kind of held it up and just went over it, and very lightly. And sometimes I just went over like these little pieces. It seems like I went over the back, and then I went over the front just on the edges with the iron, and it flattened it out. So you can see these are all nice and flat. And so yeah, they're ready. This was at the top. That's why this is cut off. It was at the top where the roll started. So whenever they put it together, they cut off that flower, the manufacturer, not me. Let's see. So I just wanted to show you, I plan on doing tags and things with these. So, you know, look at this pretty big one here. That could go on a page. Or I could cut them up too. I noticed some of them I might not want to cut up, you know, cut in half, but some of them I could. So like let me see if I find, well, this one that I cut out, I'll show you. I thought that one could be cut in half if I wanted to cut it in half. This one I fussy cut out. Let me show you here on this. See that, how pretty that would be glued down onto something on a page. And yeah, I thought if I wanted to cut this in half, I could cut it like right here, or just above. I could actually cut the leaves off and use them separately, and cut the flowers off and use them separately. It was a little tedious to cut this part out right in here. So if you don't like fussy cutting, you wouldn't like cutting this part out, because I felt like in any second I was going to just snip right through that little tiny stem right there. And or as I was moving it around, I thought I'm just going to pull it right apart if I'm not careful, you know, like, and it would be separated. But it is wallpaper, so it's thicker than normal paper, so I think that helped as far as not pulling it apart. But in the cutting process, I had to be really careful. So anyway, that was a fun little thing I did this morning with the wallpaper. And then next I thought maybe I would, this is one of my apron, an apron pattern that I showed you in my, hearing a noise, in my Thrifty Thursday, and just a weird noise I've never heard in my house before. I thought I would get this ready for my cookbook journal. So I kind of thought about it for, you know, a little bit what exactly I wanted to do. And it's, you know, it's all together and it's new and everything, as far as, and you know, not old and crumbly or anything. It's not, you know, you can see it's a little wrinkled up in here. And so I thought of a couple different things I'd like to do with it. And I thought I would like to go ahead and just reinforce it. So I thought, well, how would I do that? So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you how. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to take the sides off, just a little teeny tiny sliver here, because I don't want to cut it with my scissors, and I don't want to, because I want a straight line. I don't want to cut it like, say you cut it here and just slice it. I didn't want to do that, because then you'll have a little, you kind of end up with a little curved piece on the side. You know what I mean? If you've ever done that, you know what I mean. It's just a little curved piece where it was folded, and then it's not straight, and it's like, can I straighten it out or not? So I figured just a little teeny tiny sliver. It's white right here anyway. See beside the picture? It's got a little white there anyway, so it's not like I'm cutting anything off. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll show you after I get it apart what I'm going to do next. And yeah, as I thought about it and figured out in my head the progression of how it might work, this is what I thought I would do. Kind of like went step by step in my head, and it's like, at first I was set on one thing, and I was like, oh no, I think I want to do this. So did I get that apart? Oh, I didn't even slice enough off to get it apart. That's funny. I think it's apart down here, but not all the way here. Okay, let me just do that again. It's, yeah, not quite apart there at the top. Okay, let's do that one more time. Let's see, right up here, I'm cutting like well, now it's straight. I don't think I cut straight there. Okay, let's see if it's apart now. Look at that. This teeny tiny sliver, right? So yeah, there we go. So that's apart. So the next thing I want to do, I was thinking of using this flap originally, and I thought, you know, I don't really have to use that flap, do I? No, I don't have to. So I'm going to cut that off. Let's see, about right there. I'll have that. I can use this somewhere else. It does say McCall's on it and things like that, so I might use that somewhere. I've got the insides here, the tissue, and let's see what's on this paper. This could be cute too to use somewhere. See the little aprons there? That could be neat to cut out for a sewing journal and use that as a little page, right? So we're definitely going to keep that, put that with my sewing stuff. So next I thought I would use this top white part here as my new flap and make a new flap. I'm going to still make this into an envelope, but I want this to be my flap now instead of that other one. This is a little straighter too. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a crease so I can see where I want my flap. And then, so that will go, you see we've got that now. So I'm going to cut, let's see. So I can see where I want my flap. I'm going to cut this. Actually, I'm going to fold it where I want it. Probably about like right there. And I'll show you up close in a second, up closer. So I'm going to fold it where I'm going to cut, right? Okay, so I'm going to cut about right there. Where does that go? See, it doesn't really matter what's on the back. It's not like it's a picture or anything. So Oh, I was going to show you. See, I've got a little bit of space here in between where the flap folds and the envelope where you would put something in. So let's just cut that straight across for a second here. And you see how this was originally cut where you have a little point. It is a double layer there, but you have a little point there. So I'm going to take that into consideration as to what I do next. So I did want to round the corners here, but I'm not going to do that yet. And I might cut that a little bit here too on these corners a little bit, but I'm not going to do that yet because what I'm going to do next is line this to give this extra strength. Now here's a couple of pieces of paper that were part of the envelope. So let's keep those. And let me get my glue here and put a little glue on here so this is not flopping around. Make sure everything's clear here. Yeah, I'm just going to glue this back down. And then once I get done with this, I think it's going to make for a nice strong envelope. And then I'll figure out where I'm going to put it. Because I was thinking, you know, I'm doing this because I was thinking, well, if I just use it as it is, where am I going to put it? How am I going to put it in there? And it's everything I came up with in my head just was like, it's just going to be too weak. You know, I would like it to be stronger. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay, so there we go. We glued those two little pieces down. Let's see what this is. It's a little piece sticking out there. Let me cut that off. Okay. Now, I think I pulled out, I have these. I knew I had these, but I hadn't pulled them out in a while, and I thought maybe I would use a piece of this. These are little traveler's notebooks that I had got from a subscription quite a few years ago, and it was a year subscription, and I wanted to cancel it, and they wouldn't let me. So, and I didn't, because I wanted to cancel it because I didn't like the traveler's notebooks. So what I ended up doing was just taking them apart, and now I can just use them as scrapbook paper, right? It's cardstock. So say if I take one off here, let me get, I'm trying to think, I got two there. Yeah, I take one page off, and there I have myself a piece of cardstock, right? So I do want to cut some of these up. When I recently rediscovered them, I thought, you know, these would make really cute journaling cards. So I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll do some today if we have time, but I would like to cut them up as little, or I could even cut them in half. Like, let me find one. I can cut in half real quick. Because I thought if I cut it in half, that would be a cute little card, like a journaling spot, but it would be in a card shape type of thing. That, let's see, here's one here that could work. Yeah, let's cut this one in half and see what it looks like. I'm kind of, since I thought of that, and now I just said it again out loud, I thought I'm really anxious to see what that might look like. Okay, so let's just do one real quick. So here it is, cut in half. And I would round the corners here. And then I could even decorate. You can make these into little cards, right? Little thank you cards or something, but see? There we go. Yeah. So it's like a base for a card or a journaling spot. Yeah. All right. Okay, so yeah, that's the idea on that. And then I can also cut some just into like 3x4 journaling cards. And look at that. I could cut those labels out. There's just a lot I could do with them, but I need to actually do it. So what I thought I'd do for this is use something like, it doesn't matter what is inside because you're not going to really see it. We're going to put this back together. So let's see. Let's see here. If I just keep it together like this. Let me put this graph paper on the bottom, and let's see, where's my fold here? So it's going to be like this, but I want it to line all of this. So I'm just going to go like this. Put this down here. You know what? I'm thinking this through here for a second. Let me put this at the top. Okay. Let me put it here. Because then I'll know I'll have polka dots at the top here. When in that part that shows above the back of the envelope. Okay, so then I'm going to just cut this off. and measure with my my actual envelope here where I need to cut outright. Get it lined up on the bottom and the top. Okay, so whoops, I moved it. All right, lined up on the bottom and the top right there. Let me see if I can pull the envelope out without moving my paper. Okay, does it look straight? It almost doesn't look straight. I'm going to straighten it up a little. Okay, I think that looks straight. I'm going to cut it right there. So I've got this little strip I can do something with if I need it. Okay, so then let's see if it fits now. Yes, it does. Okay, so I'm going to glue this completely down. So I'm going to go ahead and just use some art glitter glue here. So yeah, this is something you could, if you want to make an envelope out of something, a piece of paper, you could just cut a piece of paper that size and then line it with whatever pretty paper you want. Just an idea you could use for making envelopes out of just paper that you have, scraps or whatever, paper you don't want to use for anything else, but you like it. Make some envelopes like this. I have some paper like that. That's what I'm saying, that I have some paper. I like it, but it almost doesn't fit with anything. You know what I mean? So this is an idea for myself too. Like, yeah, I could make some envelopes like this size, because they're, the paper I'm thinking of right now is 8.5. It's scrapbook paper. And it's very pretty, but it's hard to use because it's very colorful and kind of boho, almost, maybe you want to describe it as. And I don't really make a lot of boho journals, so you know, it's kind of a little bit hard for me to use. But I have used some of it, and so this is an idea for me to use some more of it, right? Okay, so let's get this glued down. So this is going to be closed up, so it's not like it has to be perfect, but you know, I would like it to look. Oh, I said I was going to glue that at the top. Hold on. Thank goodness glue that pulled off. Yes, we all make mistakes, don't we? Now I need to put a little bit more glue on there because that's almost dry. Yeah, and it is dry in a lot of spots. Okay, let me move a little faster here so that doesn't, this what I'm putting down now doesn't dry. Yes, we all make mistakes, don't we? And then we got to fix them, which is most of the time easy to do when you're making this type of journal that, you know, you want to have the handmade look, and you doesn't really have to be always perfect, right? Even though you want it to be perfect. See, my envelope folds right there, and I want this right up into the fold. So now I've got the polka dots at the top where I wanted them. All right. Now let me get my, I don't think I have my smoother outer here. I put it away. Let me grab it here. Yeah. Yes, somebody commented on that. That they liked that I called this my smoother outer. But thank you for that. I didn't realize it was anything different than anybody else, but I guess I didn't call it the technical name of it, which this is just a scraper. So I thought smoother outer was a better term for it, right? All right, I think that's nice and glued down. I do want something down here, so I could just use scraps because this is not going to be seen, or is it? Let's see. It's going to be folded. I was going to see, I have my, I brought my scoreboard over here in case I need it, but this is folding nicely, so I'm folding it on the original fold here, so that works. So far that's what we have. So I just need a piece of paper right here, which the top of it could be seen. So let's see, this won't go all the way across, so let's see what I might want there on the top of that, and grab, sorry, a tissue. I had to take my first allergy pill of the spring last night. My eyes were getting really itchy, and I was like, oh my goodness, I need an allergy pill, because you know, when your eyes get itchy, it can drive you insane. Okay, this is pretty right here, this little design right here. Let's see if we want anything else that would go better with the black and white polka dots. I don't want to take too long. Oh, this would be pretty right here, wouldn't it? On the other side. Like, not that you'll really even see it, but I'm going to kind of strip it. I'm going to cut this off right here. I know, I feel like I'm being like really brutal cutting this up, cutting these up, but that's what I need to do. I had actually put a pocket in here and was using this for something, but I kind of changed my mind on it and to cut it apart. Okay, we're going to take that off. That's just a paint sample, I think, that I had glued in there as a pocket. Okay, so we're going to put a piece of this right here. Oh, that pretty much covers it, doesn't it? Oh, cool. That worked out well. I think I'll just make a little fold right here. Then we'll have pretty flowers at the top of this side. And I'll cut right there. Okay. And glue this. I've got a little flip up here where the where it bends, you know, like what I was talking about at the beginning. If it's folded, then you have a little bend on the side. Plus I have the piece where the staples were there. So let's get this glued down real quick, because I want to totally finish this today, this envelope. I won't have time on this video to actually put it into, and I haven't figured out how I want to put it into the cookbook journal yet. Exactly. So I'll figure that out and show you in another, my next video of working on this journal. It will either be me, I'll show you me putting it in there or already in there, right? Probably already in there. Okay, that should be plenty of glue there. Now let's get this down. Okay. It looks good. Now there's a little strip right here. Does that matter? No, I don't really think it does. There's a little strip where I didn't get any of that cardstock. I just want to make sure this piece is nice and glued down. I'm going to put a little bit under the edge here. A little bit of glue. And so I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and, well, let me round the corners. Oh, I do want to put a piece up here too. Hold on. Let's see what else I can put up there. Let's see. So if I have that there, I want a little decorative piece here. I wonder if I have enough of this floral paper left. Here's another pocket I glued on here. That's another paint sample of some kind or something. If I tear the paper too much, I won't be able to use it. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, I got that off of there. Okay, now. It's not quite long enough because I glued this on here. So that's not quite long enough. All right, let me find something else that matches, possibly. This star paper, would that go? Or I could put graph paper. Or here's some yellow polka dots. That might be cute. They're like little yellow suns. Okay, so let me cut or fold possibly where I need to cut. So what am I looking at here? The polka dots, the suns. They're like little suns. Okay. So about right there. It doesn't have, you know what, I'll overlap it a little bit so it doesn't like go right up to it. A little overlap would be good there. Okay. So I'm going to cut this. Put a piece on this envelope right here. On this flap. So it needs to go about right like this. All right, right there. Oops, that's when you hear that noise, that's me hitting my camera arm when I just hit it with my fingernail. So, okay, I want to get a lot of glue on here. This is going to show, and I'm going to make sure it sticks down good. And we're going to round the corners, and then I'm going to go sew up the sides with my sew machine. And I think I'll do possibly, maybe, trying to think if I want to do a straight stitch or a zigzag. I think I'm going to, I was thinking of straight stitch. I always change my mind right in the middle of getting ready to do things, right? But I'm thinking Let me get this at the very top there. I said I wanted, you know, wouldn't mind if it overlapped a little bit, but I'm going to be folding it, so I don't know if I want to overlap. That would make it harder to fold, right? Yes, it would. Okay, so I've got a lot of glue on there. Okay, so I didn't actually overlap it because I just remembered that I was going to fold there, and I don't want it to make it, you know, difficult to fold, so we still can fold nicely since I did not overlap it. Okay, and then I said I'm going to round the corners. So where's my, here it is, my corner rounder. I didn't know if it would cut since I just glued that down. It's like kind of like wet glue under there, but it did. So let me make sure that's good to go. Nice and rounded. And then these right here, I'm going to go ahead and round these, see what these look like. Yep, they look nicer rounded for sure. Okay. There we are. So it's going to look something like this. See, we still have our whole picture. We have a new flap, all nice and strong now. I'm going to go sew it and I'll be right back. Okay, my friends, I'm back from the sewing machine. And so I sewed around. What I ended up doing was I sewed all around with a zigzag stitch. It's a black zigzag stitch. I really like how that looks. And I went around the flap too. I didn't have to do that, but I just think it gives it an overall cohesive look and an extra design there with your zigzag stitch, you know. So that's what it looks like with the flap closed on the front. And here's what it looks like on the back. But I added one more element right here. After I was done, I was like, oh shoot, I should have sewn. Like what I could have done before I sewed it closed was sew across this piece right here with my sewing machine with the zigzag stitch. But I thought, well, I didn't do that. So what do I want to do? Because I wanted to strengthen that. So I put this, I just quick, while I was on that little pause, got a piece of rickrack, and I was going for any color. I was just like, grab my little rickracks and things out my container. I was like, I'm going for any color that I think will go. And I looked at the front, and there's kind of reds and blacks and yellows and whatever. I didn't want blue really, but the first color that I found besides, and I wanted a big rickrack. So the first big rickrack I found that was not blue. I kept finding blue, was this yellow one, and that just happens to match the little suns right here with what I'm calling little suns on this flap here. So anyway, I think that gives that flap, that little edge there, some protection from, you know, when you're putting things in and out. And plus it looks really cute. And then I actually went ahead and sewed down the edges, just went over the edges again with a zigzag stitch over the edges. So it's all fabric-tacked here and sewn on the edges. So that is it. And I think, I mean, you could decorate it more if you wanted to, wherever on the front. You could put some rickrack down here. I wouldn't want to cover up the aprons, but over here I really wouldn't even want to cover up this number because I think that's cool looking. So anyway, I love it. You could decorate the flap if you wanted, but anyway, I think it's really cute. And that's my little fun crafty thing I wanted to do today. I'm off to plant some more seeds from my garden, so I'll see you in my next video. Stay tuned for that and hit the subscribe, like, and comment if you haven't subscribed, so you will be notified. Thanks for watching today, guys. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time. Happy crafting.